Hello again, welcome back, Bob the Vape and Computer Guy. Today we're going to be doing a product review of the Avacado by Geekvape. So this is the Avacado by Geekvape. This is not a dripper and sort of a tank. This is one of those where your coils are on top, your tank is below, and your wicks are hanging down into your tank. Alright, let's dive down, look at it, show you how it's built, and then I'll come back up and I'll tell you the pros and cons and what I like and what I don't like.
Hey, welcome back. Today we're going to take a look at the Avocado Tank by Geekvape. Scratch and sniff. There we go. Let's take a look at the tank. Screw on drip tip. And you have a replacement Delrin, but they are screw on and not standard. Actually, that pops out, not a screw on. And you can see you have your airflow adjustment in there, both sides. Build deck. And it comes like this with the filler to do a single or dual coil on one side. But you can remove that. And then you can build dual coils on both sides with double wicking or a quad coil. You get an extra filler, which is nice. And if you want to pretend you're vaping and not really vape, you can put these both. Well, you can't put them both in, but if you break off that little nub in there, you can put them both in at the same time. Don't know why you'd want to do that, but you know. You also get a replaceable smoked glass. You get some extra O-rings there. You got your Allen key. And this is the center post screw cap, an extra one. So one of the reasons you might want to do a double coil on both sides of this is it makes it easy for filling. When you want to fill, you can just pop this off, fill through these holes, throw that back on, and then your wicking is going through here. Alright. Opening this up can be a bit of a pain, so that's one of the reasons you would want not have to open it up. If you're putting coils on both sides and you have it all wicked up, the only way you're going to be able to fill it is to pull your cotton out of one of the holes and then drip through there and then fill it back up. Now, disassembling this for cleaning, you have this center screw here. You don't want to lose that. And then the center pin, well, at this point you can pull it apart, but that center pin also will fall out now. Alright, got your O-ring on your top, got your glass, and you got your base, and the center pin is now detachable. Alright, you can swap this out for the smoked glass. Make sure your O-ring everything is in place. Make sure you're holding everything together. And of course, if you don't like dealing with finicky things, it's not terrible, but it is a little finicky. You can, once you get this tight enough, without cracking your glass, make sure that center post is all the way in. Alright, and you can see the screw threading in the center. Now you have to take this piece and get it right on there, which I got really lucky that time and did. Well, I spoke too soon. It only takes about 2 turns, not even. You want to see how she looks with the smoked glass? Yeah, as you can see, you also have, if you don't want to use the slots for your airflow, you have holes. And you can just do, if you're doing a single coil build on this side, you can just throw in 2 dots there. Back to a Cylon slot. Even a single airflow hole. Now the other side is open, but it won't matter if you place your filler in here. The filler actually has a hole in it. The filler actually has a hole in it to allow a little bit of airflow to go straight through. And there she is with the smoked glass. I think she's a nice looking tank. If you want to put the silver tip back on, which is also a more restrictive airflow, as you can see. I think it actually looks better this way, but I prefer the increased airflow from the wide bore tip. So there you go. I'm going to wick it, fill it with juice, and we're going to vape on it.
So you see it up close, and I've probably done more builds and more fooling around with this than I've done with any other tank that I've reviewed. It took a lot of work to get it where I like it. Single coil, dual coil, Clapton coils, regular coils, a lot of wicking, a little wicking, long wicks, short wicks, a lot of playing around with this thing. Excuse me. And right now I got it set up where I'm enjoying it. And this is the first time I've got it set up where I'm enjoying it after, I don't know, 8, 9 builds and different configurations here. And, well, I'm going to take a vape. I'm really enjoying it now. I've got some of this Oh So Juicy by Emoji liquids in here, and it's just coming out really good, really nice jelly ring peach ring candy. And for the first time, I'm not getting any dry hits. It's wicking well. That's the hardest problem with this thing, is getting the juice to flow well. And I'll tell you why I think what the problem is with that. Let's put it right there. You can see it. When you look at a regular tank, all right, or an RTA, I should say, you have your coils inside, and you have a chamber around it, and then you have your juice around it and going above it. As you can see, all the juice is here and going up and around. And as you vape and the vapor comes out through the chimney, gravity, even though it's not heavy, gravity and the negative air pressure is actually making the juice go down into the holes to go onto the wicking. So it's creating pressure that your juice is here and your juice is going down through the holes and then touching the bottom of those wicks. Okay? And it's forcing that juice to want to go down and in those holes to get those wicks wet. Well, with this, because your coils are on top and your wicks are just hanging down into the juice just has to saturate those wicks and work its way up in there. And there's no pressure pushing it like this. It's just sitting there, and it's just naturally having to, the cotton dries out on the top where the coils are, and the wicks just have to naturally suck up that juice and bring it into the cotton that's in the coils. So I think you have to vape this, at least in my experience, on a lower wattage with a thinner juice that is going to wick up into that cotton faster. Or if you're somebody that, takes a hit and doesn't vape again for a minute or two, that's fine. I'm usually the kind of person who picks it up. I want to take 3 or 4 straight hits off of it, and then I put it down for a while. And for me, once you would get to that second or third hit, it's just not wicking fast enough, and I haven't gotten any bad dry hits, but I could feel from the crackling and the popping that my cotton is getting dry, and it's just not wicking fast enough, and I'd have to put it down, wait for that juice to absorb. So some of the rules are that I found is you can't use a high VG juice. What I have in there now is a 70 VG, 30 PG, and that's the max VG I would put into this. Also, using coils like Clapton's, I'm finding it's just not, it's too much heat, too much everything right away, and it's evaporating it too fast. So what I have in there now is a dual Canthal build. Okay. Also, using a single coil I found is no good with this for me because you're just not getting enough vapor. So if I want to pump up the wattage or I want to take a longer hit, that cotton's just going to dry out. Using a dual coil, you can take a shorter hit and get a more satisfying vape because you're getting twice as much. So you don't have to put it down as fast. You can get a good hit, good vapor production off of it, and then you can put it down and let those two wick again. And so that's working best. No Claptons, no single coils, no high VG, and I'm getting a good vape off of this. And that's the only way I find I'm getting a good vape off of this. Let's take a few hits off of it and show you how it's working. It's working good now. I don't know if you'll hear it. I don't know if you could hear that, but by the 4th fast hit like that, I can start hearing that cotton a little bit. It's a little dried out there, so you get a little bit of that crackling sound, and all right, I'm getting dry. It's that kind of thing that if you're a dripper, you can just sense, okay, I need juice on there. And if that happens in the beginning of a vape, and you keep vaping it, and you don't realize it in the middle of a hit, that's when you get a dry hit because that cotton's too dried out. So doing that, this is vaping great. If that kind of vape is not going to work for you, you're going to have a problem. You're going to get dry hits. You're not going to enjoy it as much. But I'm vaping this now. Those 2 coils came out to a 0.63 ohm, and I'm vaping it on 40 watts. Okay? And it's vaping great. I need more juice in there, though. As you can see, that tank is low. And that's the other thing. If your wicks aren't long enough, if you're not getting enough juice flow in there, you're going to have a problem again. So fortunately, if you vape like this, as you do that, you're going to wet the wicks, and you subconsciously or consciously have to. You vape like this, then you might want to just go like this for a moment, let the other wick get some more juice on it as it runs low. The other downside is if you're using a dual coil, you can see the cotton is going into those 4 holes that you saw, wicking holes in the close-up, and the only way you're going to fill this up is to pull some of that cotton out and have to wick through one of those holes. Juice through one of those holes. So what I have to do now is pull that cotton out, put it to the side, and I don't know if you can see, but the hole is there now. Then you got to get your juice. Stay up there, cotton. And no problems, it takes the juice well. The holes are big enough that even with the dropper to get it full. Then you got to get your cotton back in there. And if you put too much juice like I probably just did, you didn't leave enough room for the cotton. As soon as I try and get my cotton back in there, I'm going to displace some of the juice into the top and flood it. Which I'm right at the limit. My juice has, you can't see it, but the juice has come up right to the rim of here. Now it's a decent sized well that you can get enough in there. Then you can take your top cap, pop it back on, and you're ready to vape again. That's good. With this setup, the two Canthal coils wicked well into there, going down into the juice, and a thinner VG juice. 50-50 would probably be beautiful in here, but the 70-30 is wicking well. It's working well. This is a really, really good vape right now, and I'm really enjoying it. This is like I said, this is the first time in over a week I've gotten it to vape good though, where I'm enjoying it. I have not enjoyed any of the other builds, any single coil or any kind of clapped-in wire. None of that was vaping good for me. This is the only kind of setup that this works well for, and it works extremely well. So if you want a really good tasting vape, you got to build that way. You got to build a little bit higher. Like I said, I got a 0.6 something in there. You don't want to build a 0.2, 0.3 because you're going to have to use 60, 70, 80 watts, and it's just going to be too much, and you're going to dry out that cotton too fast because it's not going to be able to suck up the juice fast enough. So if that's the only way you like to vape, it's not going to work for you. If you're like me and you don't care about what, the way I look at it with vaping, I don't care if it's a 0.2, 0.3, 0.8 coil setup. I don't care as much about the VG of the juice, although 70 is really the only thing, lowest thing I use. Occasionally I'll get 50-50 that someone sends me, but 70 VG is usually what I like. I just want the taste, right? Most of us just want to have a good taste, good amount of vapor production, and enjoy your vape. Some people like to say, nope, I can only vape, 100 watts on 0.2 ohms, that's it, that's all I vape. Well, this is not going to be for you, I don't think. But if you don't mind and you use different setups, different tanks, different this, and you just want to have good vaping, get this, build it that way, and you will be very happy with it. That is the only configuration I find works well, and when it works beautiful, and it tastes great. Anything else, forget it, it's not going to work well. So there you go. That's the Avacado by Geekvape. I'll put a link below to it, and yeah, it's a nice device. It does not hold a lot of juice, so you will be filling it up, and it's not the kind of thing you're just going to pop the cap and fill juice through a hole. If you're using 4 wicks, you really got to do it the way I just showed you. But other than that, I'm enjoying it now. Finally, I was ready to give this a really bad review and say, that it's not a bad device. It's just not enjoyable for working on, for vaping with. It's just not great for me. But now that I have it in this configuration, it is working great for me. So there you go. That's my review. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't, and check out some of my other reviews. Thanks again.